There are 15 decks in Balatro, each with its own strengths and weaknesses, and today, we're going to go over the optimal strategies to beat every deck, especially on gold stake. Let's get right into it. Up first, we have the red deck, which gives you an extra discard every round. Due to its generic limitations, there's a broad amount of strategies you can go with here, but if you want to take advantage on the ability of this deck, you're going to have to utilize jokers that activate on discards. For a better economy, Mail-in Rebate and Faceless Joker provide money off discards. Meanwhile, Castle, Yorick, Hit the Road, and Burt Joker all help with chip and mult scaling. Trading card also synergizes well since you have to discard only one card for it to activate, which is a lot easier to use when you have an extra discard laying around. You're also going to want to avoid jokers like Delayed Gratification and the Green Joker since they incentivize not using your discards for their abilities to trigger. Burglar's another joker you might want to avoid on this deck since it gets rid of all your discards and gives you 3 extra hands. You actually end up losing on this trade since you lose more discards than you gain hands. Unless you're at blue stake, then it's just an even trade and it's not so bad. Up next, we have the blue deck, which gives you an extra hand for every round. This is probably one of the easiest decks to play on. Having that extra hand can provide an extra dollar to you every round that you wouldn't have gotten in other decks. Jokers that scale on hands will give you the best bang for your buck on this deck. You can't go wrong with cards like Spare Trousers, Wii, Square, and Green Joker, since having that extra hand allows you to scale these cards more than you normally can. Next up is the yellow deck, which starts you in the game at $14. Now the only advice I can really give you on this specific deck is how to utilize that extra $10 the game gives you to help you win your run. For the most consistent results, I'd recommend capitalizing on the extra $2 interest in the first round that you wouldn't have gotten without that extra $10 given to you. From there, you can go to your shop, and if there's a rare joker that you wouldn't normally be able to afford, go for it. Otherwise, you want to try to save as much money as you can until you get to the interest cap of $25. Up next, we have the green deck, which gives $2 per remaining hand and $1 per remaining discard at the end of each round. On top of that, you earn no interest, so every unused hand and discard is your main source of income. Due to this deck's payout structure, your optimal strategy is to preserve as many hands and discards as possible while squeezing maximum chip and multiplier value out of a single hand that you do play. You also want to try to find another source of income for a more reliable economy, even if it's just the golden joker. You can spend aggressively in each shop. Since you don't earn interest, you don't have to worry about saving money to earn extra interest. Jokers like Mary Andy, Burglar, or Drunkard can increase the earnings from green deck by providing more discards or hands. A fun joker combo on this deck is Credit Card and Vagabond. Since you don't really have to worry about the interest at all, you can capitalize on these otherwise overlooked jokers. But that also means that you should avoid the Seed Money Voucher and the To The Moon Joker, since they're based on interest and won't do anything for you. By running a clean, one and done build centered on flat chip and multiplier gains, you turn unused hands and discards into pure profit and build a reliable solo hand engine. Up next, we have the black deck, which gives you an extra joker slot but one less hand every round. That missing hand means you see 5 fewer cards each round and get $1 less at the end of each blind, and this makes the early game on the black deck much more difficult than with any other deck. The extra joker slot doesn't matter much in the early game, since it may take many rounds to actually fill and utilize that 6th joker slot. You should be more willing to take temporary strength jokers in order to stay alive early on. Jokers like Popcorn, Gros Michel, Swashbuckler, and the Abstract Joker all give flat mult that you can rely on to survive until you can upgrade them. Cards like Vagabond and Reserve Parking suffer from the one less hand, as jokers which generate a resource when the hand is played have less opportunities to trigger. Card Sharp also activates one less time because of this as well. Up next, we've got the Magic deck, which kicks off your run with the Crystal Ball Voucher, which gives you an extra consumable slot, and 2 tarot cards that are the Fool. Since the Fool copies your last play tarot card or your planet card, you want to hold out for something good. The Hermit card doubles your money up to $20, so you can bring in $60 in one fell swoop. Or you can save it for one of the suit changing cards, and in one go you can change 9 cards in your deck to your desired suit and start flushing your way to victory early on. You could also upgrade a single hand 3 times with the Planet card, which is a major boost early game. Having the Observatory Voucher synergizes with the extra consumable slot that you get, since you can get up to 3 Planet cards in there, each giving an extra 1.5x mult boost. Up next, we have the Nebula deck, which starts you off with the Telescope Voucher, but one less consumable slot. To take advantage of the Telescope Voucher, it's best to go with 5 card hands that can scale quickly from Planet cards, whether it's flushes, full houses, or even 5 of a kinds. Constellation gains 0.1x mult every time a planet card is used, which is already highly encouraged with Telescope. Astronomer makes all planet cards and celestial packs free, allowing for amazing synergy with telescope as your most played hand can be consistently leveled up for free. 4 fingers and shortcut allow for 5 card hands to be played easier, pairing well with their increased scaling. However, there are more jokers that don't synergize with this deck. Any joker that generates resources for you is subpar at best, since you can't capitalize as much with one less consumable slot. Vagabond, certificate, seance, and gift card all lose value, and red card should be a complete no-go on this deck, since you don't want to be skipping any celestial packs. If you somehow manage to get Perkio during your run, you won't really need to worry about the -1 consumable slot being a problem. Next up, we have the Ghost deck, which starts you off with the Hex card and allows for spectral cards to appear in the shop, with about a 7% chance for it to show up per slot in the shop. You want to use the Hex card as soon as you find a decent joker that you think you'll take with you to the endgame. Since it destroys all other jokers after giving it polychrome, you don't want it to accidentally have it destroy a valuable joker. Alternatively, the Hex card may be sold for $2, providing a small cash infuse if the situation calls for it. This deck is special since it allows you to purchase the Deja Vu Spectral card from the shop, which grants a red seal to a chosen card. Unlike seeing it in Spectral packs, having the Deja Vu card in the consumable slot means that it can be safe to go onto any card in your deck. This can make certain strategies far more reliable. Most notably, getting a Red Seal King with the Baron Joker is many times easier on the Ghost deck than it is with any other deck. You can then use the Aura card to make this Red Seal even stronger. You can also purchase the Cryptid card from the shop directly, which can be duplicated with Perkio. Combined with Baron and Mime, this creates an endless build that can reach Nan-Inf. On any other deck, one would need to use 6th Sense or Seance to obtain a Cryptid in the consumable slot. This strategy makes the Ghost deck one of the most reliable decks for getting far in Endless mode. Next up, we have the Abandoned deck, which has no face cards in the entire deck, starting you off with just 40 cards. The lack of face cards in the Abandoned deck means that the average chip value of a hand is significantly lower than that of any other 52 card deck. You're going to want to avoid jokers that boost face cards unless you have Pareidolia. Ride the Bus is a good joker, especially if found early on, as it can just keep scaling every hand with no face cards to reset it. Cards that boost specific ranks such as Hack and the Fibonacci Joker are much easier to play around due to this deck's smaller size. Other jokers like this are Odd Todd, Even Steven, and the Scholar. Also, fun fact, the Abandoned deck is the only starting deck to not initially contain 52 cards, making it the smallest deck in the game. Next up, we have the Checkered deck, which starts you off with 26 spades and 26 hearts in your deck. Just like someone who's about to clog a public washroom, this run is going to have a lot of flushes. If you're able to increase your hand size by just 1, you're always guaranteed for a flush in your hand, making it a lot easier to build around Oops. I was trying to hold that in. I could not hold that in. Anyways, as I was saying, if you're able to increase your hand size by just 1, you are always guaranteed a flush in your hand, making it a lot easier to build around flushes. You want to go for any jokers that boost heart and spade cards, along with jokers that reward flushes. The 4 Fingers Joker makes flushes and straights require only 4 cards. If you pair this with the Shortcut Joker and the Seance Joker, you can start farming spectral cards off of very flexible straight flushes. Also, the Castle Joker scales a lot faster due to the reduced number of suits in the deck. Up next, we have the Zodiac deck, which starts your run with the Tarot Merchant, Planet Merchant, and the Overstock Voucher, meaning there's going to be a lot more Tarot and Planet cards in the shop. With this being said, you should go for jokers that scale based on these things being used. For Tarot cards, Fortune Teller, Vampire, and Driver's License all synergize. For Planet cards, Astronomer, Constellation, and Satellite all synergize as well. And if you can hold on to an Egg Joker, or snag yourself a gift card joker, you can benefit a lot money wise since Temperance will be easier to find. Next up, we have the Painted deck, which gives you +2 hand size, but takes away 1 joker slot. This deck makes 5 card hands such as straights, flushes, and full houses significantly easier. However, the -1 joker slot can be challenging at times. Jokers which reduce hand size such as Stuntman can have their downsize negated by the deck's +2 hand size bonus. And any joker that cares about having specific cards in your hand get better. These jokers include Mime, Shoot the Moon, Baron, Reserved Parking, Midas Mask, and Certificate, specifically because of the blue and purple seals. Next up, we have the Anaglyph deck, which gives you a double tag after defeating each boss blind. Now typically it's advised not to go for skip tags, especially in early game since the rewards aren't worth it for long-term success, but this definitely makes it a lot more easier. The other day on my stream, I had a run that got me to 21 total jokers on the Anaglyph deck because I kept using the double tags all on negative tags. Also, shameless plug, but stop by one of my streams, trust me, it's always a good time. But as I was saying, you could use these double tags for a variety of reasons depending on what you're looking to get out of it. You can majorly increase one of your hands if an orbital tag comes, or you can play your chances and get as many spectral cards as you can when the spectral tag comes up. Typically, it's good to save these double tags until the tag that you're looking for comes along. Also, fun fact, anaglyph is a method of 3D imagery that relies on seeing the same image twice with two different color filters, traditionally using red and blue filters, but more recently using red and cyan filters for better color, like with cheap 3D glasses. Next up, we have the most interesting deck in the game, the Plasma deck, which balances chips and mult when calculating score for a played hand and has 2x the base blind size. For example, if you had this level 1 flush here, the hand score would normally be 75 times 4, which would give you 300. However, with the Plasma deck, the total chips and total mult are averaged together before they get multiplied. So you would add the 75 and the 4 to get 79, divide that by 2, which is 39.5 to get the average, then you multiply those together to get your final score, which gives you 1560. This is a significantly higher number, and is offset by having blind sizes twice as high when playing this deck. In fact, the hand score will always be higher after balancing, except in the case that its chips and mult are equal. You want to aim for the highest raw number boost to chips and mult. Since chips start off at a higher number, most jokers and consumables boost chips with a larger raw number than mult. For example, bonus cards plus 30 plus chips versus mult cards plus 4 mult. This is roughly balanced on other decks, but on the Plasma deck, chips and mults equally contribute to the hand score, so using cards with large plus chips will result in a much higher score. Also, in a normal deck, focusing on only multiplicative mult leads to a non-optimal distribution, which is fixed with the Plasma deck and can result in much higher final scores with identical builds and the same hand. For example, if a normal deck was scoring 100 x 10,000, we would give it a million, but on a Plasma deck scoring, this would even out to 5,050 on both sides, giving you over 25 million points. Plasma deck thus encourages the player to build towards heavily scaling either chips or mult, usually mult as it scales faster with multiplicative effects. Otherwise, if the player had built towards having relatively balanced chips and mult, balancing again would not provide enough of a buff to overcome the double blind size debuff, and the hands end up being less effective, especially at larger blinds. Specifically, a hand's mult has to be around 5.8x its chips, or its chips around 5.8x its mult, for the hand to be as effective on Plasma deck as it is on a normal scoring deck. And lastly, we have the Erratic deck, which contains 52 cards like a normal deck, but the suits and ranks are completely randomized. There is no correct strategy with this deck as it is different on every run, but this is what you can do to give yourself the best chance possible. You should check the full deck at the beginning before buying any jokers or consumables. A deck with many of 1 or 2 suits may be best approached with flushes, and a deck with lots of the same rank of a card may be best suited to 3, 4, and 5 of a kind hands, or full house if more than one is common. Also, fun fact, if you use this seed, you'll get a deck made purely of 10 of spades. This can be taken one step further with this seed, which on top of having only 10 of spades, also has exclusively holographic jokers in the shop or in packs up until ante 10. Remember, the advice I've given you isn't the only way to win gold stake runs, but it definitely will help you get there. Okay, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.